Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Courtside with Beilinson Tennis, part of the Tennis Channel Podcast Network. We are so happy to have with us tonight both Heath and Lindsay Lee-Waters, the creators of Match Tennis app, which at a high level is basically your virtual tournament desk for signing into tennis tournaments and yet so much more. Lindsay is a former top 35 WTA player, and Heath is a veteran ATP and WTA registered tour coach since 1998. Heath's professional players have won more than 90 professional titles on tour, and his junior students have won more than 30 gold balls. We are happy to have both of them on tonight to learn more about their current venture, Match Tennis app. It is my privilege to welcome to the Courtside with Beilinson Tennis Pod both Lindsay and Heath. Guys, thanks for taking time, talking some tennis, and sharing your journey with me tonight.
Thanks so much for having us. We really appreciate it. We're excited.
Yeah, so before we kind of go into more detail, I just want to introduce the topic. If you guys can talk a little bit about it at a high level, what is this tennis match app? What is it all about?
Yeah, basically Match Tennis app is a calendar-based app that manages your tennis tournament journey from the beginning all the way up through college. We started it in May 2017 and are excited to share more throughout this podcast.
And I know it's continuing to get developed, so it's so great. And again, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that product, obviously, but you both have a very interesting background. And I wanted to kind of ask you guys to talk a little bit about how not only this project came about, but your tennis journeys specifically. I think the listeners would be eager to know. So I'll leave it up to you. Either one of you can start.
Do you want me to start? Oh, okay. I started playing tennis when I was 8 years old. I grew up in Oklahoma playing state tournaments, sectional to national in Missouri Valley, and moved to Atlanta to train when I was 14 years old, and played nationals all the way till I was 16, and then actually turned pro at 16 and played my first Wimbledon and French Open at 17, and just been on the tour for over 20 years, traveling the world. And during that time, I had 2 kids during that time, while obviously took some time off, but and kind of had to.
She played the U.S. Open 5.5 months pregnant. That was I did an article on the New York Times about.
Oh wow! And Serena was, I think, when Serena won the Australian Open, I think she was pregnant too, right? Very early stage.
Yeah.
You weren't very early stage though. You were later on.
That's why it was kind of a story. He's like, what?
No, the doctor said I was okay to do it, but so just really been doing this my whole life, and I absolutely love it. And yeah, that's kind of summed up, I guess, in a little bit.
Yeah. And Heath?
Yeah, no. So I've been coaching a long time. Moved to Atlanta back in '91. Played college tennis. Had an injury. Of course, had the dream like everybody else to go pro, but I had a choice. I got a job offer and had a year to recover, and I took the job offer. And so got into coaching juniors and did really well with that. And then we met through tennis, and I coached on the tour for about 15 years, pretty much full time. And then, end up having children and traveling with her and many other players as well. And now we got a 14-year-old son. A daughter started playing. We have a 19-year-old daughter, and she played for a little bit, but she's into film in college and took a different path, which we love. And now our 14-year-old's playing, and he's got the bug, and we're kind of giving him this season of his life to pursue his passion. And so, yeah, we are tennis enthusiasts in every angle, from coaching, playing, parenting, and kind of cover all the bases, I think.
So great. Now, did you coach Lindsay at all, or you guys just met through running in the same tennis circles?
Through mutual friends, and I coached later on a little bit, kind of part-time, and then when I slowed down on the tour, we joined. Both of us had an academy together, and then that kind of slowed down when our son really started showing that passion. So we really wanted to give this season to him and to travel and be able to go to Europe if we wanted to do that and be a little more flexible with our schedule. So.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about this Match Tennis app. I'm curious, how did the idea come about? Obviously, we've talked about you have a 14-year-old who plays. I believe he's nationally ranked, a very good player. Talk a little bit about your frustrations with what maybe was currently out there, and what was the impetus for you guys going forward and creating an app like this?
Yeah, when I was playing on the tour full time, I was traveling a lot and trying to, while trying to manage, our kids were in soccer, baseball, and starting to play tennis tournaments, and really just trying to manage. I was spending so many hours trying to figure out what tournaments to play. Finding rankings was very difficult because there were so many different ones. And one of the things, we missed so many deadlines for tournaments because nationals is a month out, where sectional, maybe two weeks out or 1 week. Every tournament level is a little bit different. So I would think he entered and I would enter. So we really
I got in trouble most of the time
no.
because sometimes it was my fault.
As long as you didn't pay double entry fees, that would be the worst.
We probably did.
Yeah, we probably.
Good chance.
Yeah.
It was quite overwhelming, to say the least, the whole experience when she was managing her own tour and trying to manage the kids' tennis.
Yeah, and we were just trying to come up with a way to save time so we could spend it, in other ways with our family and that. So that's kind of, and then we kind of just kept talking about it and maybe complaining a little bit. And then we said, well, why aren't we doing anything?
So there has to be a better way.
Yeah. So that's kind of,
we got to it and tried to create a better way.
Yeah. So when I was a junior, and I don't want to age myself too much, but we literally filled out a form and mailed in the entry fee.
I remember that.
Then, lately we had Tennis Link, the USTA's Tennis Link. How are you guys enmeshed with that product?
Yeah, I'll let you.
Well, so right now we are partnering with many USTA sections. We've created, back in the spring when this pandemic hit, we created what we call a virtual tournament desk. And so basically most of the country, especially the bigger sections, have mandated, like Southern Cal, Southern, Southern, we're over here in the South, and Eastern, UST Eastern, where New York and all the pandemic hit, a lot of these places are mandating the use of this process that we call the virtual tournament desk, which pretty much eliminates the physical tournament desk. And so just through innovative technology, we facilitated a way to help with CDC best practices of social distancing. And so that is become really prominent right now to keep people safe. But we did that because a lot of players weren't playing tennis for many months. And so our hope, and we have our 14-year-old, we wanted him to get back going, but we also, all these kids that are trying to get college scholarships. And during the summer, goodness, it was all these national tournaments canceled. So college coaches couldn't come out and watch them. And they've been working all their life since maybe they're 5 or 6 years old, working towards trying to get into college to play tennis. A lot of these kids had that dream, and it was dissipating. And so we got busy and created that, and that's been very fruitful for getting it going again. And so far, to date, we started June 1st, not one player has contracted or transferred the virus at a VTD tournament where they were using this virtual tournament desk. And so hopefully other sports out there hear kind of what we're doing with that with the USTA and stuff, and maybe they could consider using it, because especially with individual sports, but people like tennis and even triathletes and stuff like that, and those kind of events still don't have anything. They're still not going at it. They're just practicing. And so hopefully this will stimulate them thinking of some solutions like tennis has.
Right. And we've talked specifically about the virtual tournament desk, and that is obviously very, very crucial in times like this today. But in doing my own research, the app has way more than just this virtual tournament desk. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Talk about the plethora of, menu of items that you have in this app.
Gosh, there's so many. I'll start out with a few of my favorites are the notifications, when you save tournaments to your calendar in the app, you get, the deadlines, the notifications sent to you. You have 3 days to enter. You get the notifications for your rankings, not only USTA. So when you play a tournament and your ranking changes, you get a notification, hey, your rankings moved up. Hopefully, sometimes
we're
it moves
down.
down.
It's like a stock.
Yeah, your UTR rankings. And on the site, you have a list of all, tennis recruiting all in one place. So you see UTR, tennis recruiting, all your USTA, and then even ITF juniors. And then I'll let Heath kind of explain the Match U and tournament scheduler.
Probably one of my favorites. And here's what's cool. We have a free basic plan as well, which we used to not have. But kind of we were talking about college earlier. One of our hopes is that, all these kids, if you, probably query most of the parents in the sport, a lot of kids say they have a dream to go pro. Our kid wants to play pro. But in the end, I think most of them would be very happy if their kid got some type of academic assistance or financial assistance because of the sport of tennis to get them an education.
Yes, I have a 16-year-old, so college is right around the corner.
Right. And so we've created, a lot of these services are $5,000 a year, these recruiting services and things. And so we met with college coaches for about 12 months and created what we call Match U College Connect. And inside of Match Tennis app, as a part of the free basic plan, it manages your entire recruiting journey as a freshman all the way up. And so a lot of people don't know, as an example, as a sophomore, so it has a checklist, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, a checklist that keeps you on track for giving you a chance to get a scholarship, but it tells you what to do when and when to do what, when to fill out the amateurism certification process. Most people don't even know what that is. As a sophomore, you need to start doing that. Well, you're going to get emails through Match U of when the application deadlines for all the schools. So you go in, you create a profile, and then you start selecting through Match Tennis app. It pulls in all 4,000 schools in the United States, the coaches' contact information, so you can communicate with these college coaches all across the country for free, just and start sending them emails. And what's cool is it logs all that correspondence. It even lets you know when the coach opens the email, so they can, if they're showing interest, but you can search their tuition, you can search their GPA requirements. And what it does is it has a drag and drop thing. So as you go and do visits, for instance, we just had a 7-something UTR recently just get a 85% scholarship. And she wasn't academically inclined, so she wanted to stay within 2 hours of her home, and she wanted to do a physical therapy degree, and so she searched all the area within 2 hours. And what it does, it pulls in your academic metrics and compares it to your rating, your UTR rating, and then it compares that to all the schools that you're interested in and shows you. It says green if you fit the metrics and red if you don't, if you're deficit. And as a freshman, you can kind of compare that over time. Oh, I need to move up my UTR at least 1.5 points to get into this school. My GPA needs to raise to this, or maybe you fit it. And then if you're not sure and you're just coming in, you can click a button and it shows you every school in the United States. In her case, there were like, I don't know, 370 of them that her academic and UTR rating and GPA, all that met, that she could go and she would fit on that team based on her metrics. And in the first week she went, she emailed 4 schools. She got 3 offers in the week she went and did her visits. And she's now playing. She actually just called us, and she just won her first match last week at her school, which is really, she won 2 matches in a row because it's individual play right now. And so those type of things, that's where our hearts is. That's my favorite feature is Match U, but it does so many more. One of my second favorite, and I'll let you give one, is the tournament scheduler. So again, we've made this for the parents. So we're trying to go to bat for them and the things that they've struggled with all these years. The tournament scheduler, when to play what tournaments and what terms to play when, is most parents might not know. Some coaches don't even know, for goodness sakes. It's a very difficult thing to figure out. Well, say a kid, what we do is you simply, using data, you say, I want to be ranked, top 50 in my section, or you could say top 50 in your state by, April of 2021. What it's going to do, it's going to show you how many points you have for that sectional or state or national ranking, whatever you put as your ranking goal type. It's going to tell you how many points you have in that. how many points you need to average. And then what it does, you push generate report or generate tournaments. It's going to display all the tournaments and how many points they offer, so you can compare how many points you need versus these tournaments points, and then you can start adding them to your calendar of which ones to play that will help you achieve. Because some people play the wrong tournaments. Right. They could play the wrong tournaments for 4 years and never even know it, and never give themselves a chance to get a college scholarship. And this takes care of all that. So
this gives you a proper roadmap to follow when you enter.
Exactly. It gives you pathways that are concrete and educational.
And we found there's a lot of kids, obviously the top players in the nation or even in the South are getting recruited. It's the ones that maybe are a little lower that love tennis as well and would love to play tennis further. And maybe they started later. We found that to be a case and weren't sure kind of the roadmap, and they learned later, but they were still able to go and, get some of their school paid for and be able to do something they love to play.
Yeah, this connects them. Yeah.
Great. So great. So I love it. The most important thing is, how can people find this out? I know there's the website. How can they contact you if they have questions? Give the listeners all the info so they can get rolling with this app.
Yeah, the fastest way to find us is matchtennisapp.com, and you can go there and kind of see all the offerings. That's a really great way. One of the things that we didn't mention, of the way that you got into it was kind of the competitors and applicants list of trying to figure out which terms to play, and maybe share that story.
One other story real quick. One of the pain points that we had, I know a lot of parents had this as well, is when, especially at all levels, this matters, is, let's say my son is wanting to play in a national, and when you enter the tournament, it's just a list of players, so you're not really sure if they're even going to get into the tournament till they select the competitors. You maybe have an idea, but a lot of parents, and me included, would spend literally hours having to go through all the players to see, okay, where's the ranking, where, he might be close. Do I need to play another tournament? Because they want to play. And so we created, it's called, in our applicants list, once you apply for the tournament, it goes in and it shows, we have a list of their rankings with their sectional, national, and their UTR. So you're able to sort it to see, where you fit on the list. So, hey, I'm way in, I'm good. Or, oh man, it's going to be close, or I'm already out, so let's go to another tournament.
Yeah, so you make educated decisions in a matter of seconds instead of it was taking you sometimes 4 hours to figure out if he could even get in.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sounds like one-stop shopping, basically, and I think that's probably the goal of what you guys had when you were creating this product.
Well, and then the other thing is probably my fourth favorite feature for me is finding players. So our son finished top 10 in the nation in the 12s, and then we went to Europe and trained and did a bunch of stuff with a bunch of different places. But we missed a lot of tournaments. But he progressed quite rapidly, and we were having trouble finding matches in our local area. We just couldn't find anybody that he could play with at around his level. And so what we did is inside of our system, because we probably we're getting close to having, almost probably half of the United States tournament players in our system already. And so they're all tournament players that are doing what our son's doing and all these other players are doing. And so what we did is we created a way to contact. So you can go inside of our app. And for instance, if you want to find someone who is ranked USTA top 50 in the state, and you can put your zip code in a 10-mile radius, and you say, I want to find everybody top 50. How many players top 50 in the state are within a 10-mile radius? If you want to find top 50 in the South, top 50 in the nation, or if you want to say, I want to find everybody a 10.5 UTR to a 12 UTR, or a 6.2 UTR to an 8 UTR within 10 miles of my zip code. And then what you can do is you simply go into our app, click send message, and invite them to practice or play a match. That has never been done. And so our app allows and facilitates connecting with others that you might not even thought of, simply by having all the data that you can get the information from. So it's really helpful. It's like we use that every week now. It's been just incredible, and he gets great match play now with people that might not even we don't train with, but we can just go out in one-offs. If you want to find a doubles partner and you travel, well, you can send a message and, hey, you want to play doubles next tournament, and you can see all their data, and so you can even do comparisons head to head. Cool thing is, if I was playing David, say me, you and David, I haven't ever played David, right? David. And so but you've played 4 of the guys and I've played 4 guys in common. Well, a little thing it does is it actually compares and it shows everybody, maybe we haven't played each other, but maybe I'm playing you first round in this upcoming tournament. It'll show all the guys that you've played and all the guys I played, what your scores were, and my scores are those same 4 guys and that we had in common. And so, oh, well, David beat him 6-1, 6-0, and I lost to him. I'm probably going to get killed. I wouldn't say that. But it does things like this, things that really neat for the parents educationally to see and players. And yeah, some pretty cool stuff.
No, great. Thank you for sharing all this information again. Before we leave, what's that website one more time?
Oh, it's matchtennisapp.com.
Okay, and if they have questions, there's a place on the website. Obviously, they could email questions too.
Yeah, they can email at support@matchtennisapp.com.
Yeah, and we have a little thing because we have a team, and even the owners, everybody from the high to low in the company gets that support email. And our goal is to see who can respond the fastest. So sometimes you might get 2 answers right away for the same question, but we kind of make it a game because we love customer service.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, Heath, so much for spending time talking about this project, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.